Hello, and welcome back to Punctual Politics. I'm Dawson Iasillo, Senior Opinion Editor.
And I'm opinion writer Jackson Hatcher.
And I'm Senior News Editor Natalie Hill. Jumping straight into this episode's topic, on February 24th, President Donald Trump delivered the longest ever State of the Union address, clocking in at 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 40 seconds. The major themes of his address focused on the economy, featuring claims that inflation was falling and incomes are rising. Foreign policy, President Trump says he prefers diplomacy but won't allow Iran to obtain nuclear weapons. Immigration and national identity, featuring the upcoming 250th anniversary of America and what Donald Trump calls the quote-unquote golden age of America. My first question to you two is, do you think the modern State of the Union address is about informing the public or sending a political message?
It's definitely about sending a political message. Something I find interesting is that, the State of the Union, as we imagine it today, with the president, coming into Congress, doing a big speech. That's not how it used to be. It used to be the president would write a letter, send it to Congress, and that would be it. And then Congress would be updated on the State of the Union, and then Congress would inform the people about the State of the Union through what the president says. But now it's a big political theater thing. That's basically it, right?
I would even go one step further and say it's not even a political message. I think Trump just likes to hear himself talk. He's just arrogant, and there was nothing in his speech that was sending any sort of political message other than just tooting his own horn and telling lies of things that he did that just hasn't happened.
I mean, that is a political message.
I guess that's
true. It serves
true.
A political goal. And we'll dog on Trump here, but I think this has been an issue with the State of the Union forever. It's I heard someone sometimes say, "Oh, this is the Oscars of politics." I'm like, what are we doing here?
Not quite.
Yeah, but I don't disagree. It's a show that people tune into, and they have test audiences that to gauge how people are feeling the speech, like it's a movie.
It's almost outdated. The State of the Union.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many press conferences, and politics and the media are so intertwined now that we're very informed of what's happening if you're paying attention. I kind of think that the State of the Union's kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, I think if you're a politician, maybe not. I think it's the best opportunity to
for sure.
clip farm.
Yeah.
I think that's
for
mostly
sure.
what it's about now.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that it's less of getting the public all on the same page and more of just politicians using it for their own good.
Yeah, for sure. Were there topics that you felt should have received more or less attention during the speech?
Well, I think for sure immigration, because he didn't, he was saying a bunch of stuff oh, we're doing so well on it, but he wasn't really going into details. And if this was about politics for him, I think he should have taken the opportunity to try and at least make people think that he's addressing their concerns, specifically with how ICE is operating, specifically in Minneapolis. This is a month after Alex Preddy was shot. And, just kind of ignoring that, not even mentioning at the time, I don't think he talked about Kristi Noem or ICE more than once.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Right. I think that's just a common Trump tactic, is to kind of talk about all the great things he's done but not really provide evidence for it, and simply because there really isn't much evidence to back up his claims. But that's a common Trump strategy of just kind of word vomiting all these good things, and so it looks at the surface level that what he's doing is great, but there's no further details that can get into it.
I find it funny. The longest State of the Union speech ever, but what of substance was said? Not much. And I think that's because half the entire speech was these bombastic things just to clip farm. Does bringing out the U.S. men's hockey team inform anyone about the state of our union? Not even a little bit.
And they were there for uncomfortably
It was
long.
so long. Like they were there. They were there for at least 10 minutes.
They didn't even have a seat, which was.
Yeah,
But that's besides the point.
even like other things that are like less controversial, like awarding that 100-year-old veteran with the Congressional Medal of Honor. Good for him. He should have that. But also, like, how is that informing us about the state of our union?
Right.
It's not. It's so
Honestly, calling it a political Oscar is
Oscars. Yeah, I mean,
it makes sense.
You guys touched on this a little bit earlier, but in a modern era, what do you think the State of the Union address should look like? What should its purpose be?
I think it should go back to like who was the first person to do this? I think like FDR, where it was just the president signs a letter, because like what they're constitutionally obligated to inform Congress about the state of our union.
Yeah.
Write a letter, right?
Right.
What is the issue with writing?
Email,
it could be an email,
This
yeah.
could be an email.
Or just a press conference.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, like the media is so intertwined in politics now. It's so much easier now than it was at the origin of the State of the Union to inform the public and have them all be on the same page. I still think a State of the Union could be necessary if the president used it as a tool to inform the public and not as a publicity stunt.
Yeah, they just don't do that though. And
and it's not realistic to think they ever will.
Like even I'm remembering Joe Biden's last speech, and this was before he like dropped out of the race, the State of the Union speech, and like the news analysts, the pundits or whatever, they were all like, "This will be his biggest stage in his campaign." I'm like, his campaign. This isn't a campaign event.
This isn't a campaign.
This is like a constitutional obligation.
Yes.
To inform the public.
And it's almost like being treated like a political rally. Like,
yeah.
It's.
I mean, it is. Yeah. I mean, a political rally where half the people are, captive and don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So we saw during the address some examples of protesting, some boycotted the event. Do you think they were justified in that?
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone. I mean, okay, actually, it's a tough position for Democrats because I would say don't go, but then I would also say, like...
Cause disruption.
That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say,
That's
like...
what I was saying.
This event is the president being invited by Congress.
Yeah.
So if you like leave, then you're saying... Then you're kind of like ceding power to the president, right? So like, but I mean, if you're the minority party, I would say, don't go.
Yeah.
Like, why even bother?
See, I would almost disagree. I think Democrats should make it very apparent that they are still here and that they are still fighting back and resisting. But they did the complete opposite, and instead of their job is to represent their people from their state, their constituents. They need to represent those people in Congress, whether they want to be there or not. And so I think that form of protest is absolutely justified. I think there absolutely should have been protests. This is an unprecedented presidency that we have never seen before, and it's absolutely scary times that we need to be protesting. But I don't understand the protest of just not showing up. I don't think the point of protests are to cause disruption, and that just gave Trump what he wanted. He didn't want the Democrats there anyways.
Well, I would actually push back on that because, they like a bunch of these people that didn't show up, they held like counter programming, right? And like, I'm going to be honest, I didn't tune into that, but people did, right? That is a disruption.
That is true.
And like, I mean,
I don't think I was aware of that. That changes things.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the right move would be. I don't know what I would do. But I can certainly say one thing, that if I was represented by a Democrat, the one thing I wouldn't want them to do is to just go to the speech and then act like normal, right?
Yes,
Either don't show up at all, like Bernie Sanders, or like cause a ruckus like Al Green.
Yeah, I would rather them not show up than to just sit there and act uniform and normal.
Last question for you guys on this. Fact checkers from BBC, NPR, and other outlets have found inaccuracies in the address. Some examples that come to mind are Trump's claims about the economy and election security, for example. I guess just what's your take on the fact that the president can go on TV and say things that aren't true to the public? Do you think there should be guardrails in place there?
I mean, he's been doing this for over a decade
I mean,
now. This isn't anything new. This isn't anything that's going to turn his supporters away. The man is kind of lawless. And even if there were, absolutely there should be repercussions if a president is going to stand on arguably the biggest stage of his presidency and just spew lies. But he's been doing this for every campaign he's run, every administration that he's run. Like, Trump telling lies is like finding water in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, this is nothing new, but even we've seen that even if there were repercussions to this, I don't think it could even touch Trump. I mean, he's a 34 convicted felon being a president. Clearly his supporters wouldn't care.
I'll say this. I do think there is a possibility of repercussions, but it does kind of depend on like congressional Democrats having a spine, so I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah.
But the president, despite like what the visuals look like it's the boss of America talking to like all of his subordinates, his employees, it's the opposite.
Absolutely.
The ones that have the actual power there, the ones who invite the president, the people who let the president into the House are Congress members, right?
Yes.
So like if in the midterms Democrats win back the House, which they probably will, they could just say, no, we're not inviting you. Send us a letter, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is absolutely what they should do.
I
because
agree.
What would be the benefit of being gracious and letting the president come and just lie?
This State of the Union, the point of the State of the Union is for Americans to understand better, and I think if anything, this was just a detriment to Americans.
It just makes it more confusing.
It just muddles everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you are depending on what the president says at the State of the Union, you have a complete, like, incorrect picture of the state of our union.
Yes.
So I think Congress has a responsibility to make that picture clearer, and I think the best way to do that would be to not invite him next year.
Yeah.
Make him send a letter that no one will read.
I agree.
But, that would also depend on, Hakeem Jeffries saying, yeah, no, we're not inviting him. So
yeah. And that's probably not going to...
Yeah, welcome.
That's probably not in the cards.
1 year from now, he'll be doing the same crap,
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. As always, thank you for tuning into Punctual Politics. Just a reminder that the views expressed on this podcast do not represent the views of the Daily Nebraskan as a whole.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on socials at the Daily Nebraskan, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube. Be sure to keep up to date with Punctual Politics, as episodes will be coming out 3 times a week on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. We'll see you next time.